My favorite thing is when you go all Boston.
You go into the comments.
A hoodsie cap?
You go into the comments right now. You tell Ari Shapiro that the rest of us had ice cream.
Hey everyone, I'm Ari Shapiro. This is Engagement Party.
And I'm Audie Cornish, and we have been seeing your little notes and reviews in the comments, and we love you for it. Thank you. Remember, you can talk to us at engagementparty@cnn.com.
So for today's show, we have a sweet treat for you. Froyo is back.
I see what you did there. Also, airport theory. Why you get there early or late. There's some psychology there.
And we're going to start with what's old is new again. What's old is one of the greatest tech failures of the 21st century, Google Glass.
I thought you were going to say Froyo.
Well, also that.
Like it wanted to be ice cream and didn't make it there.
Okay, the question is Meta glasses going to be the next great tech failure of the 21st century after Mark Zuckerberg has invested, $70 billion into making it a thing? Is it something we're all going to be wearing, or is it just a creepy way for perverts to be even more lecherous than they were without these glasses?
Ari, what is your take? I am not sure.
I don't know.
All right, so 2012, Google launches Google Glass, okay? It is considered one of the tech flops of all times. Because you might remember, people were like, oh, these glasses look awkward. They actually don't even look good. So here we are all these years later, and Meta comes back, and Meta has like a VP of fashion, by the way. And so they partner with Ray-Bans, which people like. It's a brand people like the product. And this is where things get interesting.
Yeah.
Why is it on Engagement Party?
All right, because first of all, they've hired mega celebs to be the spokespeople for these, like Kylie Jenner, Tiana Taylor, Doja Cat. The Ray-Bans actually look a lot better than these wearable glasses have looked before.
In fairness, it's
all
Ray-Bans.
Glasses are wearable.
Yeah,
than these smart
exactly.
glasses have looked before. And also in the age of AI, there's now all kinds of tech features that didn't exist in the earlier versions of this. So as you're walking, it can give you map directions or give you details about what you're looking at, or even read a text or send a voice memo or whatever you might want to do.
So all this is fine. Like Meta, they want to sell like 3 million of these a year. I mean, the expansion is
10 million was the figure that I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, a boy can dream.
Okay.
And that boy is Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg came up with one good idea in college, which was a system to rank whether women were hot or not. He called it Facebook. It became a global powerhouse. Every success he has had since then has been a thing that he bought, WhatsApp, Instagram, and the things he has tried to build from the ground up, like the metaverse, which he spent tens of billions of dollars on. The metaverse is now an empty parking lot in the wasteland of failed technology. Like,
Listen,
what has Mark Zuckerberg done that worked?
Oh my God. First of all, Meta works, okay? It's a massive company. Number two, you are in my taxonomy of takes.
Oh,
okay?
Give me your taxonomy
I love
of
a good
takes.
taxonomy.
Okay, yes.
So when it comes to Meta glasses, and the reason why people are so fired up about this one is because Kylie Jenner of the Kardashian billionaire clan is the latest face for these things. Of course, she does stuff like Markets Move, etc. So there are the Zuckerberg haters. That's one tier. There's the Kardashian haters. That's a second tier. There's the anti-surveillance state people who are complaining about surveillance state capitalism in fashion.
Yes.
And then they're what I call the pervert adopters. And there's
So the only people who like this are the perverts.
Other people like it, people who cheat on tests in China and Taiwan. They've raised serious questions about people wearing their glasses into exams. But just for a little context, when it comes to tech, weirdly, sorry, Mom, pornography and pornographers have always been at the forefront of using tech.
No, I agree with you completely.
Whether you're talking about the CD-ROM or the e-shopping cart or whatever it is, even like streaming out of your browser, right? So I don't think it's an accident that the people who have embraced this in a lot of cases, not all, some of you are wearing them for fun, are using them to accost women on the street and tape them. Without their consent. That's the most key part of that whole sentence.
Just on the technology evolves thanks to porn.
Yeah.
One of my favorite fun facts is that the earliest home video cameras to make home movies had a low light setting. Now, how many birthday parties do you know are held in low light settings?
Right.
This was clearly to make home movies of things that only involve
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But the difference for me is that in so many of those cases with the past tech, A, there were women involved. People don't understand that about some early internet technology. But B, it was most of the time with consent, meaning we are filming a thing. We are using the tech for something.
Yeah.
We need this paid for. It's a payment processing thing. What's happening with this is really intriguing, is it's tapped into our sort of voyeurism instinct to drive a creation of a world of content, which is I've walked up to a woman in the street and I've started talking to her or trying to pick her up, or I'm just filming people without their consent everywhere I can.
We have great examples of this.
Do you actually have some?
Yeah, we absolutely do.
No, I wasn't sure, because what can you show? Is any of it legal?
Yeah, well, so this is a covert recording, and we're going to blur the woman's face, but this is the kind of thing we're talking about.
Okay.
I don't have any pickup lines for you.
This is a guy whose Instagram account is basically like showing other dudes how to pick up women on the street. And she actually says, "Are those the Meta glasses? Oh yeah, I have some too." But then
wait, can I I just want to see her reaction.
She actually reacts more positively than you might expect.
Okay.
Are those the Meta glasses?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have some too.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you have them? I love these.
I feel like you put them on and you lock in.
Yeah, for real.
Can I just talk about her response? I feel like you put them on and you lock in. Like that phrase, which I think for this generation means something very specific. You are focused and locked into the world around you, probably because you are now monitoring it.
One of the things that I don't understand is that apparently one of the goals of these glasses is to get people to cut down on their screen time. But if you're cutting down on time looking at your phone to instead look through some pair of glasses that is giving you all the information your phone gave you, what are you actually improving on?
Well, you will
Like, you're not
improve
gonna have
on
the neck
that
pain
moment
from
at the
looking
restaurant where someone can't remember a detail or fact and then everyone scurries to their phone to look it up. That will now be irritating times 10 because the person will do it just while staring at you.
I also think it's worth looking at some of the like high-profile celebrity, highly paid ads that have been created to try to sell us on these things. This is a print ad. Hey, it's Kylie Jenner. She's got the grill. It says, meet the first and only AI glasses with Meta AI voiced by Kylie, because the thing everybody wants is Kylie Jenner's voice in their ear.
However they do. That was also in my taxonomy, the very online. There's a world of creator right now that is stuck like holding their phone in front of the bathroom mirror. And like, it'll be so much cooler and fun for them to just be wearing some sort of wearable device that can do this. And one of the things that's interesting is in the ad for it, I think one of them shows like a day in her life. So if you're in the world of selling pseudo access to an imagined version of your life that you can monetize,
whether you're like a food influencer or a garden influencer or a fashion influencer,
this is great, right? You're excited.
Right. But if you're trying to sell 10 million pairs a year, you're going to have to go beyond that population.
So here's the thing. I understand why the engagement on this is so high. So many people hate it. The best post I saw on this is this person who said, Meta glasses are cyber trucks for the face. Shout out to Bravo historian.
But one of the reasons I love that so much is that Mark Zuckerberg has been trying so hard to be Elon Musk. And he's becoming Elon Musk in the way that he did not want to be.
Here's the thing. There's also, I think, this is hitting right when there is a backlash to the AI companies and their founders. Right? Like, people know their names. They know Altman. They know Zuckerberg. And I think the idea of surveillance state and in an era when the kids are into socialism and talking about these things, what they see is they've grown up with their attention monetized.
Yeah.
And now as adults, they feel like it's being weaponized, whether that might be ICE, right, and immigration and customs. If you guys ever read 404 Media, they're a great upstart news company that follows internet trends. And they were totally reporting out moments where we're Customs and Border Patrol or ICE officers wearing glasses, like AI glasses, while on some of their missions.
This is on top of Meta's long history of safety failures. I mean, there was this famous Mark Zuckerberg testimony before Congress where he apologized.
I remember. I watched this live.
Yeah, here it is.
You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product?
Then
Show
he
them the
turns
pictures.
around over his shoulder. The
Would you
family
like to
stand up.
apologize for what you've done to these good people?
So he's
Photographers are behind
addressing
him.
the victims who are in the audience, and he's speaking to them. He's off mic, so we can't really hear.
And are going to continue doing extreme efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your family.
So I watched that in real time because I had interviewed the families, some of them who were in the audience. And these are the families of teenagers who had fallen victim to eating disorders or
self-harm.
self-harm, or did like pranks that they saw online in their algorithm and ended up losing their lives. We're talking very young kids under the age of 10 in some cases. So that moment was considered a big deal in terms of his like apologizing. They have a habit of being loosey-goosey with the public's trust when it comes to this sort of thing.
I see this as a bad news, good news story. I think the bad news is Congress has completely fallen asleep at the switch on this. Like, there are things
actually
lawmakers
people
could do.
calling for.
Some Democrats wrote a letter, sure. But like in Denmark, the government has given individuals the right to their identity. It is like individual copyright protection over your likeness. So that if somebody else uses an image of you without consent, you have a copyright lawsuit against them. Like, there are things the government could do that they haven't done. That's the bad news. I think the good news is we are seeing that even if you spend $70 billion, $100 billion on something, the people have the power to say,
the people
no, thank you.
do vote. The
We're
people
not into
do
it.
vote. You know, it's weird. The New York Times did some reporting on the development of these glasses, and they like unearthed some memo where the Facebook leadership was sort of like, this is the right time to launch this because it's a politically dynamic environment and civil rights groups and civil liberty groups will have their focus elsewhere.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah,
dark,
well, joke's
dark.
on them because
Look
here
it
we
up,
are talking
New York
about
Times.
it.
But joke's on them because the AI backlash is too severe to evade this moment.
As you said, the AI backlash, the surveillance backlash, the tech billionaires backlash. There are like 5 backlashes all coming for the Cybertrucks of the face.
Thing. You, I think, have totally nailed the hate engagement part of this. People are buying these.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
that's
so
true.
as much as I want to be like, what is this for? Like, I didn't know what I'd do with a smartphone, you know? Like, you don't know what these things are for until you have them in your hand sometimes.
Yep,
I'm
or
not
on your
saying that's
face.
a good thing.
I am fully prepared to come back a year from now and say, I was wrong, everybody's wearing these and so am
I think what might happen is we'll both be right. Everyone will be wearing them and everything will be horrible.
Super. All right.
All right. So we have said so many like bad things about the Meta glasses. And I just want to say there's a world of people who, you know, care about accessibility, whether they are dealing with hearing issues or the blind. There are people who actually want to see some technologies come online that would make their lives easier. And I wonder if instead of worrying about the mainstream part of it and the Kylie
This is a really
Jenner's
good
part,
point.
is there another home for some of this technology that is like more palatable?
Hey, if Zuck ends up spending $70 billion to help people with disabilities get more access, I'm all for that.
Yeah, this is me holding my breath. So now we're going to talk about frozen yogurt.
It's back.
Is it?
Well, okay. Apparently, all over New York City, there are lines of people waiting an hour or more for a thing that I used to get for 80 cents an ounce back in the 1990s
1900s?
when I was a kid.
1900s?
Frozen yogurt is back, people. Hey, hang on. Let's go to this clip from this woman in New York City who understands what it's all about.
Okay.
Is 9:32 p.m. in the West Village,
holding
and
a
there
froyo
is a
with a
line
pink spoon.
at Birdie's. There is a line at Culture. There is a line.
She's naming all these
at
hot new froyo places.
Mika, whatever
Birdie's,
it's called.
Culture,
But
Mika.
you know where there's not a line? Pinkberry.
No line
okay?
at Pinkberry.
Some of y'all forgot where you came from.
Okay, we have classism.
There
in the
was
froyo
a
situation.
headline in the New Yorker that I think really sums it up, which said more or less, every generation gets the froyo it deserves.
This is not a thing. Please tell me this is not a thing.
Do you have froyo memories from your childhood?
No.
Really? Really?
No. This is Ozempic era propaganda I'm not falling for.
Wait, truly? Because
line standing, it feels a little like New Yorkish.
Yeah, that's
like we
true.
stand in line for things. That's what we do because our apartments are very tiny and there's nowhere to go and we
Right.
have no AC. Okay, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. sorry.
Wait. On that point, can I show you this brilliant SNL sketch that spoke to exactly that?
Not beating the allegations on New York, but I'll allow it.
Big dumb line.
So I waited 3 hours. How was the matcha? Fine. Wanted this yogurt, so I waited 4 hours. How was the yogurt? Fine. Wanted these noodles, so I waited 6 hours. How were the noodles?
Fine. Oh, bad. Sorry, I got it wrong.
You know what I appreciate about this? Here's what I'll say in favor of this fad that I am not sure is a real fad. It feels like we are all too happy to pay for experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And line standing for hot, new, cool, viral things is an experience that you can hold on to. It can be yours. You can wear your AI Ray-Bans in the line and scan everyone in the line and show people online that you were there. It is just, it's not about the froyo. The froyo is a carrier for our interest in being together.
Okay, I don't agree with you that froyo is not a thing. I do agree with you that people are willing to stand in line for viral experiences. The last time I was in New York, there was a huge line. I couldn't tell what it was for until I got to the front. It's this Chinese drinks chain that I guess is like the biggest restaurant chain in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Landing in New York City, it's called Mishue, and they sell lemonade with boba, with this and that, and you can specify how you want it. People were lined up forever to spend $4 on I think a mediocre beverage.
I feel like there's a world of influencer culture that kind of gets paid to create buzz around things, and definitely around restaurants. And it's made me sort of look askance at things that I used to be like, oh, this place is crowded, it must be good. That I kind of trust. And what I don't trust is this person online made a big deal out of this thing they went to, it must be good. Like, I'm much more, I feel like it's sus.
And nobody's saying this froyo is a must-eat experience before you die. But I understand that it was not a part of your childhood, but I really do think there was a national froyo wave about 10 years ago and another national froyo wave 10 years before that.
Yeah.
And I think every decade or so, we get a wave of whether it is Pinkberry or 16 handles, or when I was a kid driving home from wherever my family was, we would stop at the AM/PM, which was like the 7-Eleven of the Pacific Northwest. You know, you fill up your gas tank, you get a candy bar, and there was the froyo machine where for 80 cents an ounce, you fill up the cup and it's unlimited toppings.
All right, wait a second. So
that was a seminal part of my childhood.
Am I the only person that just had ice cream?
Well, this is the thing I don't understand is why didn't ice cream soft serve didn't take
I grew up with soft serve.
Okay.
And, you know, in New England, it's like your little kids back in the 1900s, you had a Hoodsie cup, and a Hoodsie cup was vanilla and chocolate on one side, and you lifted up the plastic.
What is Hoodsie?
It's a hood. It's like the milk company.
Is that a brand?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you had a Hoodsie. And then there was like many ice cream places, and you had ice cream with things on them.
Yeah.
You had rainbow sprinkles.
We had that too. Like, we would go to Dairy Queen.
And back then they called them Jimmy's, which I later found out was racist.
Oh,
so now
really?
we call them chocolate sprinkles. But there
What do you call the rainbow sprinkles?
You still call them sprinkles.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it feels like it was just ice cream. I know froyo existed. I understand conceptually froyo.
This is like a blind spot in your history.
I'm the only one who knows about ice cream.
Tell us in the comments. Email us.
Did you grow up with ice cream?
engagementparty@cnn.com.
Or a
Is froyo a
wave?
thing or am I crazy? No, but here's actually a thing that I think is like an interesting data point.
Okay.
A year ago, the New York Times did a story about the new CEO of 16 Handles, which was one of these froyo shops from a decade ago.
Every
that
time
used to
you
be
say
everywhere
the New York Times, a PR professional gets their wings.
Yeah, okay.
This
but
is
the
my
story
thing with
from
this.
1 year ago was like, froyo sales are in the toilet and there haven't been any new shops opening in blah, blah, blah years. And this guy has this crazy dream of making people eat frozen yogurt again. Literally 1 year later,
when
there
we're
are stories
all
in
on
Forbes
Wegovy,
about
people are excited about froyo
I do wonder
again.
if one of the reasons that people go for froyo over, there has not been the kind of soft serve insanity that there has been over froyo. And I wonder if part of it is the veneer of healthiness.
Of
that
course
it
is.
has probiotics and it has protein.
Exactly.
And in fact, there was a great sketch. Do you remember Key and Peele?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's watch this Key and
Wait,
Peele.
you have a Key and Peele?
Yes,
All right,
about a froyo
You're
shop.
digging in. I like it.
This is perks of working at a froyo shop. It's free and fat-free.
I'll have some later.
Come on, girl, it's fat free.
The joke is that this character has ballooned in size from eating too much fat-free frozen yogurt. Her boyfriend comes back from Afghanistan, where he's been for the last year, doesn't recognize her, walks out the door.
This is a chapter in our historical era. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. And just as long as I'm like on the train of proving the cultural relevance of Froyo, can I show
comedy
you
sketch at a time?
a Disney Channel song about Froyo?
Fine.
From Liv and Natty, 2014.
Mix your own cup. The cute boys sing there and we all shout up. I love Froyo.
Wait, this is like a kid SNL, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not a kid SNL. It's like a sitcom. It's like a kids show from the Disney Channel. The premise is that this character made a music video for Froyo.
Love it.
I'm just trying to convince you that even if it was not a part of your cultural fabric, it was a part of the country's cultural fabric.
Fine. You win. But if any of you actually grew up with ice cream with real milk in it.
My favorite thing is when you go all Boston.
You go into the comments.
A hoodsie cap?
You go into the comments right now. You tell Ari Shapiro that the rest of us had ice cream.
Give me more. I love it. I love it so much.
The Pacific Northwest of the New York Times. Go on.
All right. No, I think that's it. My big question is, this is clearly a New York thing. A year from now, will it also be an Atlanta and San Francisco and Chicago and LA thing?
We did ask around, and CNN, which has offices in Atlanta, CNN Atlanta also said
they're like, no, it's not happening
that
here.
they don't know about it. They don't know about it. They're telling us they don't know about it. So not a thing. But you know what? We're always late to things. You're right. From the coast, right? It's like the cupcakes. All of a sudden, we had the cupcakes too here in D.C. like 5 to 10 years too late. So in a while, I guess I'll be throwing some trash on a cold yogurt and calling it a trend.
Wow. Such a hater. Shall we bring someone else into the party?
I think we need to.
Okay, we have a very special guest for this week's Scroll and Tell. It is your very own producer, Kara, who had something that we really need to talk about.
Hey, Audie and Ari, this is Kara. So a video I keep seeing all up and down my timeline is this whole airport theory. They're saying you only need to get to the airport about 15 to 20 minutes before your flight actually closes.
Oh, yeah, correct.
And you'll still make it.
That is not correct.
That's definitely correct.
So I'm here for it because I never get to the airport about 2 to 3 hours before, but I'd love to get your advice because your girl's still trying to catch flights this summer. Okay? Especially around 4th of July here in DC. Help!
I am shocked that you believe in this.
I lived this way.
Wow.
Let me tell you, when I was a
Mind blown.
reporter in the South and was not at a big coastal airport,
You were in Nashville,
I was in Nashville,
Right.
I would roll up to the Nashville airport as close as humanly possible to my flight.
You can do that in small Townsville.
Ooh, Nashville, hit him up in the comments. That is Ari Shapiro.
I love Nashville, but
Talking
okay.
Nashville is the new LA. Everyone knows this. But the other thing is, this was during TSA times. I was still able to do it, and there is no...
When you say during TSA times, do you mean after 9/11?
Well,
meaning within the last 25 years?
The reason why I'm saying that is because TSA recently changed the rules about having to take off your shoes.
Oh, right.
That just happened like last year. So that is a chapter beginning and close.
Can we look at somebody who is an advocate for and against?
Yeah. Oh, please do.
Okay, here's the pro.
Yeah.
What I've learned is that I can show up to the airport at the same time as my boarding and arrive at my gate with enough time before I actually get on the plane to buy an Uncrustable. This might be the best airport experience I've ever had.
With an Uncrustable is a flex.
I am more in the camp of this woman who is shaking her head in the airport lane seat saying, do not test the airport theory unless you want to cry, sweat, and throw up. That's where I land on
In fairness,
this.
she has a giant engagement ring on, and I suspect there's more going on there.
Who's
this person with a drink?
This is more. Yeah, there are a lot of people on the socials now who are like, tried the airport theory, do not recommend.
Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God. So I'm a person who gets there at the last minute. However, I am now raising people who get there very, very early. How do I know this? Because spring break 2026, the scene, Baltimore Airport. I was there for the TSA meltdown that you saw on the news. I wasn't covering it. I was in the line. So I was like in the line, and we were waiting so long, 6 hours standing outside with my kids. Remember, TSA, they were dealing with the government shutdown. They weren't getting paid.
Had your flight already taken off?
Of course it had. It was so close. We weren't going to make it. So I text my husband and I'm like, we are getting another flight. We're going home. I go back to my children. They start openly weeping because they would not be going to Zion National Park. Single
And yet
fat
you're still
tears.
advocating the
Single-
airport theory.
Here's why. Next morning, we get on another flight. The kids are like, Mama, it's 2 a.m. We need to go to the airport. So they have now become
They're
early
traumatized.
airport people.
Yeah.
I'm going to deposit these people into the dating pool, and I feel bad about it.
I'm an early airport person.
Oh, of course you
I'm
are.
an early airport person because for every time that I show up and sail through the line, there's a time I show up and it is like an hour extra.
How about this? For the
Or even the traffic getting to the airport.
For civilians, okay? I divide the world, and not into this theory, but civilians versus up in the air, which is a George Clooney reference.
I'm aware.
Okay, if you are up in the air and you're always traveling, no. Get there because you have timed it out. You know what you need to do. For everyone else who this is a exciting thing for them. They're only traveling periodically. Yeah, go 3 to 4 hours. Why? Because you're holding the rest of us up. You get into the line, you have too much stuff, you take out a water, you take out a lotion. Why do you need full-size
Godspeed, Audie,
lotion?
but if you and I ever travel together, I'm getting there an hour before you.
And I will get there right on time with a Crustable.
It's a deal.
Okay, Uncrustable.
Okay, let's put away the screens. It's time to touch grass.
Time to touch grass.
What you got?
It's summertime. It's road trip time. You hear me talking about traveling with my kids, airport, etc.
Yes.
I put together activity kits for them.
Like for a long drive?
For a long drive, for the airport, for restaurants.
What's in the kit?
The kit usually, first of all, what's important is it's all analog. You are trying to not have to deal with a screen in a place. And so there's usually, and my kids are under the age of 10, so caveat, coloring books, some kind of
Grown-ups
maze.
do coloring books. They don't have to be under the age of 10.
Exactly.
Do you make a maze?
No.
You
You
find
can
one
buy
and print
this
it out
stuff.
online or something?
Yeah, like little mazes and Find My type things, always markers, colored pencils, and novelty items, little fidget spinners and things like that.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I told you about the Tangos game a while ago, like
Yeah.
the little puzzle game with the
Yeah.
plastic pieces, and books they don't think they're going to like that I can't get them to read, but they're trapped in the car, and so they finally do.
Wow, because most parents I know treat long trips as screen time limits are off.
Yeah.
Like for this trip, your screen time is going to be infinity.
The kids absolutely get screen time, but what I'm trying to do is not make screen time a reward or some exciting thing to discuss. So
And
it's
are they into these activities? It's not like eating their vegetables instead of getting to play.
No, because I treat both with equal. I'm not like screen time is bad. It's time to stop. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, you got your 30 minutes, you got your 40 minutes, you got your movie. Great, done. It's time to do other things. Get out your kit. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
That's so sweet.
Well, but it's helpful because they feel like satiated. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're like, oh, great, we had our screen time. Now it's time to do this other thing.
There's also, I'm sure, an element of like, mommy made this for me.
No, kids like fairness. You got to do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to do screen time, you got to do it. And then when you say it's over, you have to do it, or else it creates problems down the line.
I love that.
Yeah.
My touch grass is, I mentioned this when we were talking about friendships, but it's become a bigger thing in my life than I would have expected.
The summer potlucks.
Bouldering. I joined a bouldering gym, and I started because they're very generous with the guest
this like
passes.
the
and I was
time you
going
did
on
parkour?
It is very much like the time I did parkour when I was in my 20s.
Parkour.
But you can do bouldering in your 40s. And the thing that I'm really into, so it's basically
Is it
like
just
climbing
running
without
from
ropes.
the boulder of time?
No. It's like
Oh,
you're
okay.
climbing, but it's not tall enough that you need ropes, and the whole floor
You're
is
so
crash
tall, so
pads.
that's just cheating.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But it's really fun in midlife to start out being very bad at something
Yes.
and feel yourself getting better at it.
That's
and so
me on TV.
well, also me,
That's
same.
basically-
But you feel, at least I feel, like by the time I hit midlife, I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And
or
those
you've sort
things,
of
those categories are set.
You've
right.
decided.
And so to show up and be like, I'm going to be a total abject failure at this. And then the next time I show up, I'm going to be a little bit less of a failure. And then after a month or 6 months, you actually feel like you have some proficiency at it. It's one thing to watch a kid fumble at a musical instrument or a new language or whatever. To give yourself permission to do that as an adult is kind of liberating. And
to
it's been
have
real,
that attitude specifically.
Yeah.
So are the other people in the class total newbies? Or?
I'm not even in a class. I just show up. But the thing I love about this gym is that there's children, there's grown-ups, there's queer people, there's straight people. It is not like a flex your muscles, show how much you can do gym. And people are really encouraging because all the different levels of courses are sort of on the same walls. And so people who just scramble up like a gecko are next to people who are really like hauling themselves or struggling. And everybody's very encouraging of each other. And if you want tips, people will give you tips and people will like applaud if you do something difficult. And it's just sort of a community.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really nice. Okay, so tell us what's been going on in your lives and what you're seeing in your feeds. We're at engagementparty@cnn.com, and we love to see your comments, reviews. We really do read them all, and we like post them in our shared Slack, and so
and kiki about them.
And kiki about them.
Yeah, it matters. Thanks, guys.
See you next week.